Welcome, everyone, to the We Are One Summit, cultivating inner peace to build a better planet. And we are here today with P Horsley. Welcome, P.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm delighted to be here.
I'm a huge fan of your work, and I'm really honored to get a chance to sit down with you and ask you some questions. So I'm just going to begin telling everybody a little bit about P. If you haven't come across her work over the years, P. Horsley is the UK's most highly regarded animal communication specialist. Sowing the seeds of profound transformation, her goal is to deepen personal and spiritual understanding of the natural world, rewilding our connection along the way by offering grounded, practical, and compassionate teachings to everyone from complete beginners to those with more developed intuitive skills. She's the founder of animalthoughts.com, creator of Conversations with Nature World Summit, and the Pride membership for people who want to listen to animals and animal communication practice, personal growth, and spiritual expansion. P supports people on their animal communication journey with online courses. She's got 3 best-selling books, TED Talk, mentoring, in-person online events and workshops and collaborations with some pretty spectacular people. P's ethical wild animal communication retreats held all around the globe are heart adventures into the deepest aspects of animal wisdom, love, and transformation. P was nominated for the Woman of Peace Award in 2022. So when you have such an amazing bio, when people say, P, like, what do you do for a living? How do you answer that?
I tend to keep it really simple. I'd say I'm an animal communicator. Um, and then if they ask more about, what that involves, I'll say, well, depends really, to be honest, because I also see myself as being intuitive and creative. So I often, ask the animals, what would you like me to do next? What is it that humanity needs? What is it that Mother Nature needs? And then I come up with lots of different things, like some of the things that you mentioned there.
Yeah. One of the kind of questions that's popping in is like how do you like, and it sounds such a funny question, but like how do you say animal communicator with a straight face to people who are very logical, very like how do you embody that heart-centered intuitive aspect of your work and of your being while you're like interacting with people who are very logically minded and kind of want the world ordered in a certain way?
Well, I'm also very discerning. I don't expect people to get what I do. So if I feel that, I think there's a time and a place. And if I feel I'm in an environment where someone's asked me, what do you do? And it's really not going to be appropriate to kind of go down there. Um, I might just say I help animals, I help people feel more connected, to inspire more love and compassion in the world and more connection across species. I might just keep it a bit more general and then just see if they go, oh, what's that? I want to know more about that. And then I go, well, okay, it's this thing. So it depends who I'm speaking with and this in this situation that I'm speaking
Yeah,
with them, So
yeah,
maybe not on the London Underground if some random stranger started a conversation and said, what do you do? But what I
yeah.
have found, which is so heartwarming, and I was saying this to a friend when we were walking, Grace, who's just here behind me. I said, what's really interesting is that if you actually say animal communication to people, they'll often go, oh yeah, I've heard of that. That sounds amazing. And so it's really important not to judge a book by its cover, and look at someone and go, well, they won't get any of this. And I said animal communication to this guy in the woods the other day when we were walking. He said, "Oh yeah, that's amazing." And then, have you heard of pharmacognosy? And do you know about T-touch? And I said, "Yeah, I do, I do." And so then suddenly this whole conversation of openness happens, which I love.
Yeah. How many fur babies do you have now? I know you said Grace is over here.
Yeah. So they're my friends and my family. I know people have different terms. I wouldn't ever call them my fur babies.
Okay.
Um, but there are two physically in my life at the moment, just on cue. Just as I was looking at Texas, who does want to say hello to everybody, because he's very present, even though he's in spirit. But I have Grace, my dog, with me, and I have Frankie, my cat, at the moment. I generally have one or two animals, because of where I live. I mean, wouldn't it be lovely to have so many more in my life? But physically, I think it would be too much for them.
How many, like when you have just your two animals currently, are you in communication throughout the day? Like how many times a day do you interact with your animals or animals in general?
I communicate with them daily, definitely. I communicate with Texas daily. I communicate daily with animals I come across, birds I come across. Um, Prince Henry also really needs to be acknowledged as well, right? This moment
Yes.
and not be ignored because he's just so stunning and he wants to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you, sweetheart. So, I mean, I don't see any separation.
Mm,
I don't see it's something that I have to do or try at.
mm.
It's just part of my world is that I will be communicating with animals and other aspects of nature every single day.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember reading it was in a different book. It was and the author was really talking about how she has a lot of animals and she, really doesn't have a lot of day-to-day conversations with her animals. They're kind of almost conversations when there's like big turning points or welcoming in another animal into the fold. But I'm in communication with my cats all the time, like constantly. And so it's almost like I mean, they are my roommates, but I'm always curious as to how other animal communicators interact because I'm like, am I talking to my cats too much?
I certainly don't talk to them with them all the time as I wouldn't talk with my partner all the time. You know, we have
Yeah,
silent moments when we're just sleeping or being peaceful or just doing our own thing. And oh my goodness,
yeah,
Grace particularly would go nuts if I wanted to talk with her all the time. She's a very
yeah,
quiet being, you know, she needs her quiet time. I need
yeah.
quiet time.
Yes, yeah. I'm very verbose, so my cats accommodate me. Um, so how do you, when you're interacting with an animal, how do you know that that particular animal is the right one, especially if you're working with an animal who's crossed over, that's no longer in their physical form? Like, how do you know within yourself that you're talking to the right one?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm working with my clients' animals and doing consultations for them, what I will always do for every single client is I will describe something about their animal. It could be their character, it could be their food that they used to love or walks they used to take. There'd be something about them that I'm describing to their guardian in order for us both to feel confident moving forward to where we can't necessarily verify the rest of the information. So that's how I work with my client animals. When I'm communicating with other beings, so if I'm communicating with a humpback whale or a dolphin or an elephant, it's really about me holding my own intention and focus so that the electromagnetic waves that connect me with this being and entangle through the biofields, which is a scientific way of saying, you know, we're energetically coming together and closer and having this awareness of each other, is all through intention and intention and attention. So when you focus your energy on I want to communicate with Texas. That's my intention. I'm focusing my attention on him right now, and I'm coming from the heart. And then I receive that communication back. And the same with the whale. There's a resonance that I feel in my body of, it's like it's open, it's relaxed, it's steady. Yeah, that's them. If at any point I feel that I'm coming up and I'm coming into my mind and I'm questioning it, then it's probably not them, it's probably me making it up, or I'm not giving it the due respect that's needed in that moment.
Hmm, I like that. What are your awarenesses of when you're coming up? How do you experience that, those sensations, that kind of different connection to coming from heart or abdomen or root? How do you feel yourself coming up?
Yeah, it's really a feeling of things that are not love. Because when we come up into the head, we lose that connection with our heart and that resonance with the heart energy, which is the way that we connect with other beings, non-human beings. So when we lose that, we're often overthinking, worrying, anxiety, comparing ourselves to, I was trying to say comparisonitis. There you go. Comparing ourselves. I don't know why. Why did that pop into my head? Those are lower frequencies. Love is 500, joy is 550. As soon as we start sinking down to, I'm worried I'm getting this wrong, I'm worried I can't do it, I'm worried I'm going to let that animal down, or I'm worried I'm going to let that human down. We're sinking right down, and that really means we're losing this connection, and we're going into that mind clutter of yeah.
I love that.
It's really communication that works comes from this heart resonance.
Mm. How can we be closer to our true nature when we are talking to animals? I feel like we kind of are touching on it a little bit with that heart frequency, but like our true nature, some people identify that as our spirit, our soul. There's a lot of ways that we can kind of contextualize that, but yeah, how can we be closer to ourselves as we are developing relationships with animals?
Yeah, the thing that the animals have taught me over the years is that we are nature. We're not separate from nature. We're all one, literally. We're all connected. We're all part of the greater whole. We're interconnected. And so by wishing to become more of our soul self, to feel more connection with nature, it's really about learning, as the whales will say, know who you are. And the way to do that is to, in their, from their point of view, the animal kingdom's point of view, is to connect with them, to communicate with them, because you're dropping down into your heart space and you're then intuiting what they are communicating with you. And that can then expand through to the plants, the trees, or maybe the plants and trees come first. And then it can expand to elements of fire and water and the mountains and the rock and the crystals and all the beings. And it's through that it often starts when we have an animal in our lives and we love them and we want to know, how are you feeling? What do you want to do today? Do you want to go on a walk this way? Do you want to play with that toy? How can I make you happier? If you've got any pain in your body you want me to address, through our personal interest with an animal who we share a life with, whether they're in our home or in the field, we then start to get that curiosity. Well, if I can communicate with my own dog or my own cat or my own horse, what about the other animals? And then we start to expand energetically. That curiosity is the trigger point for, oh, now I want to know about more of life. And as we learn about life through animals, through plants, through trees and rocks, that connection, amazingly, is reciprocal and comes back to us, and then we know more of ourselves.
Hmm.
And it's amazing that the the transformations that I see in people when they are communicating with animals, it can be on a 1 day beginners workshop when they go, oh my God, I can do it. It's like I can really communicate with my cat through all the way through to, one of my retreats where people are communicating with dolphins and nurse sharks and octopus and, you know, maybe animals they don't necessarily know that much about.
Yeah. How do you find that that reciprocity? Because I think one of the things that we have really noticed about humanity is like, it's okay to take from nature, but we have kind of gotten onto the slippery slope of taking way more than we need. And how have we like how have animals taught you about reciprocity? What have they told you about reciprocity? Like how is that space of giving back um, like entwined with learning to communicate with animals?
For different animals, it's different things. For different species, it's different things. Um, when I've been communicating with different species, they are they are happy to teach us. They find that reciprocal because through
Mm,
us listening to them and them teaching us or offering healing, offering guidance, they in turn know that we are more awake and more aware and therefore will be kinder and more compassionate to them as a species, to aspects of their habitat, and and of course through repetition we are growing in compassion and kindness to ourselves and to others.
mm.
So there's that aspect of reciprocity. Oh, I really can't speak
It's a
today.
hard word,
Yeah,
reciprocity.
thank you. It sounds so good when you say it.
You have to sing
Um,
it. You have to sing it a little bit.
yeah, in English, not American English, it's slightly different.
Mm.
Reciprocity.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I also like to I I don't like to lead by telling people what to do. I
Mm,
like to lead by being more of a light, that if people feel drawn to me and what I'm doing and saying and sharing um, sings to their heart, then that's how I prefer to lead. So when I'm engaging in my work, it's hard to call it work sometimes. When I'm engaging in what I do, I always make sure that there is an exchange. So for things that I'm asking people, please pay me for this aspect of what I'm giving you. There'll also be something, there'll be a freebie, there'll be with my Pride membership, I donate 10% of everybody's subscription, and the members of that membership decide each month where that donation goes to, which animal conservation or project their Make a Difference donation goes to. I do lots of free speaking. I just do a lot of free things and a lot of engagement and a lot of support that no one ever sees um, on a personal level. But out there, I will do things like we've had some really cold days. So I've went and I bought some really high quality food and I fed the pigeons and the crows. And I've been doing that every time I've gone to a certain place every week. I'll notice if an animal's in danger and will say, would you like me to relocate? I always ask, would you like me to relocate you to somewhere safer? In which case I will say, okay, I'm going to pick you up and I'll put them somewhere safer. And I talk to the plants, what do you need? How can I help support you? And I'm just mindful in my day to day about those little actions that mean a lot.
yeah. Even when you were talking about like feeding the crows, I could feel their curiosity, but like I could feel their appreciation coming towards you. It's I think that Yeah, it's sometimes it's that unseen flow of energy of just like, can I help you? Like, can I
Mm.
support you? And if they say yes or no, it's that easy flow.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to ask because sometimes we can step in where we're not needed. So if we ask, then we know that definitely we're doing the right thing for that being.
Yeah. I remember I was snorkeling over some coral reef. This was down in Bimini in the Bahamas, and there was a nurse shark just cruising around. And I was like, do you want some Reiki? And I was like, you can take as much or as little as you want. And just trying to be polite about it. And the nurse shark was like, I know how energy works, stupid human. And I was just okay, like, okay, don't underestimate this beautiful creature. But it's like, it always makes me laugh when like they kind of put me in my place a little bit. Like, don't underestimate me. Like, I'm not a child. Like, I'm not an inferior being. And it's like, but like, and it's just a reminder for me that um, they sometimes are willing to take that energy, but also like don't don't act like this is doing me a favor. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's always little corrections that I can and make in my own reciprocity when I'm working with animals. They have no problem putting me in my place.
Well, the sharks in particular are incredibly sensitive to electromagnetic energy. And the species that you're talking about, the nurse sharks, are incredibly grounded. So of all the species to say, would you like some Reiki? They're probably one of the least that probably need it
Mm.
because of how incredibly grounded and connected they are and their awareness is so heightened. Um, but if you'd seen a turtle that was struggling, that turtle probably would have gone, yeah, lay it on me, all of it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite species that you are, or maybe like a current favorite species that you like communicating with and staying in contact with?
That's such an impossible question,
I
honestly.
know.
It must be like saying, who's your favorite child? Because I love them all. So I just have moments with them. So it could be a fly one day, it could be Texas another day, it could be woodpecker that I saw in the woods the other day. I'm very connected with hammerhead sharks. I love dolphins, I love whales, but I'm about to take a group to Botswana. So my focus there will be all about elephants and giraffes and hippos and crocodiles and, a whole different mixture of species.
So cool. What is it about hammerhead sharks that just really piqued my attention? I'm so curious. What is your relationship with them, or yeah, what draws you to them?
They feel like family.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's so sweet. So, P, is there anything that the animals would like to say today? Is there any messages that they would like to pass on?
Yeah, I've brought some, but I thought also I would just give a moment to ask them if there's anything they'd like to share for people listening right now, so that everyone can receive a personal message as well. So this is fairly short, but I felt like just to give everyone an idea of the messages that different species are communicating to humans on the planet right now in the last couple of years and this year. I thought I'd share a few examples because I know that some people will be could be just like animal communication. Oh, that's quite big. Okay, intuitive interspecies communication, that's quite big. And maybe not have a full understanding of how they communicate. So I'm going to share just a few and then I'll do something else. Um, so the biggest message they have is that we all know that the answer is deep within. Nature's speaking and it's time for us to listen, and that the animals are trying to help us. So Owl says, even in your saddest moments, your light continues to shine. The Dolphin says, remember the last time you played, just for playing's sake. Butterfly, what is it you could release in order to enable more lightness into your being? Tasmanian Devil, what causes you fear or anxiety? Dive deep into that inquiry, understand it more deeply, and then you can move forward. Buffalo, we bless the land with our hooves. Each piece of Earth's body is sacred. Snail, be mindful in your intention, the direction you are traveling in, and listen to the wisdom of the spiral. And last one, Gorilla. There is a way to rise, and it's as simple as love. So those are a few examples for you, and I'll just see if anyone in the animal kingdom, whether the hammerhead maybe, who wants to come forward and then share a timely message for everyone here on this summit. It's the ray family, eagle ray, spotted ray. Just move slowly in your life. There's no need to hurry, to make it fast, to make it chaotic. It's your intention that sets the beat and the rhythm. It's your life, your choice, your decision. You can glide, you can hover, you can speed when necessary, but you decide. Everything is within your free will. When others say life is so busy, is that true? Who makes life so busy? Is it you? Is it you? Thank you, Race.
Thank you for that message. That was very timely, very, very timely, and something that I'm personally working with as there's been a lot of changes and a lot of busyness. I'm like, I don't want to feel this way. So it's feels very appropriate that that message is coming through from the animal kingdom as well.
Right, maybe it's just for you. Maybe it's for other people, who knows?
Well, I'm sure we can all take threads of good advice no matter where we are.
Yeah.
And is there any last words of wisdom that you would like to share with our listeners, P? With our participants?
There's two. Personally, I would love to be part of your journey. So if anyone is interested in working and playing with me, then please do reach out via my website, animalthoughts.com. And we can see what we can do together. And Texas wants the last word.
Welcome, Texas.
There is Texas.
Hi,
So
Texas. Such a handsome guy.
I'm delighted in this gathering. I love the energy here. I love the engagement, the souls who've gathered, the souls who are rising up, expanding out, grounding down. Life, it's life, experiences. Be in your hearts, dear humans. Allow your hearts to expand and shine and be all of their essence, to beam your essence out into the world without holding back, without holding back. Just sit in your heart and you know the truth. You know who you are, and you are love, my friend. You are love.
Thank you, Texas.
Ah,
Yes. And P, you have shared a free gift with our viewers as well today. Can you tell us a little bit about your little gift?
yeah, so I thought it would be really nice to just to offer this opportunity for you to engage in some of the things that the animals are sharing and giving forward. So it's called the Pride Pack, and in it you get to um, understand how communication begins, how to prepare, but also more than that, which is exciting, is that you get to experience the communication with a polar bear. You also receive the knowledge and sacred action download, and you get to experience what I call an animal power up. So if you then like that, if that calls to your heart, and if you go, I want more of this, then you can also join me and join my membership, The Pride. And together we can communicate each month with a different species. And there are coaching calls, there are campfires, there are 72 different experts and worldwide speakers talking about animals and nature, which you can get instant access to. So all of that, but the freebie is the Pride Pack to give you a little taster, a free trial in a sense of the Pride. But more than that, I mean, the polar bear power up is so beautiful and gentle that I think you will love it.
Cool, very cool. Well, I just want to thank you so much for being here today, sharing a lot of your knowledge, your wisdom, and passing some beautiful messages along. It's been a delight to get to know you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for listening as well.
All
Much love.
right.